You are now listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Podcast.
Welcome to Ride With Me, episode 67. Today is September 4th, 2021. And I want to start off by saying, my bad, the Big H. I know you text about playing some Call of Duty today, and I decided to do this instead. So this is what I'm doing, buddy. I will get back at you. I also want to wish my brother Ricky a happy birthday. Happy birthday, bro. I already texted you, freaking nerd. That. I also said I was going to give a shout out to my buddy Mike Wazowski. Mike Wazowski was in the movie Lord of Dogtown, and I've been asking this guy to be on the podcast for a while now. I kind of want to know what it was like to work with Heath Ledger and Johnny Knoxville. Mike Wazowski, here is your shout out, my friend. Boom. Get that out of the way. Now we start the podcast. I want to start off by apologizing for last week's episode. I did sound super angry and I did yell into the microphone multiple times. A buddy of mine did reach out and say, "Hey, you blew out my eardrum. My bad, bro. My bad, Victor. Didn't mean to." And wrong, Victor. I gotta start giving you guys names because I have multiple people with the same name. That's why I said the Big H instead of Chris, because my brother's name is Chris too. Then I have a Chris Ayala that came on the podcast. Then I have another Chris that I'm probably going to talk about later. So that's why I said the Big H. So you know which Victor I'm talking about. Which Victor hit me up about your eardrums being blown out. So yes, I want to apologize for sounding so angry. And that wasn't my intention. But when you have all this, flashbacks come back at you, your childhood flashbacks, it's crazy. It's, I've said it multiple times, or I hear it multiple times, like you only have one mother, but our mother shouldn't act the way that she did towards her children, and so it's very hard for me to continue to accept the fact that we only have one mother. It's pretty annoying to hear. And only because of what we've been through. Now, lately I mentioned to the wife that we need to start going back to church because I've noticed that a lot of things have happened since. And I don't preach church. I don't push you guys to go to church. It's not my intention for that on the podcast. But why I'm saying that is that I feel that the moment we stop going to church, a lot of events happen. I've had multiple fallouts with multiple people. One, for starters, we'll start with my mother. When my brother Chris, aka Skippy, came to live with me, nobody wanted, the few people that knew didn't want to tell her where he was because they knew that if she found out that he was living with me, that she would make my life a living hell. So when we found out that our brother Sammy passed away, which was 2 months later, after Skippy came to live with me, I told her because she claimed that she was worried for her son. So I said, he's with me. He's fine. He has a job. He's doing good. And I've noticed since that day, that's it. A couple of days after, out of the blue, she sends me this nasty ass text message where she's throwing stuff in my face that I supposedly said 5 months ago. And she is attacking my wife by calling her the Queen of California. And, throwing in my face why my brother Alex doesn't talk to me. And it was a long text message that I just responded, just fuck off, kind of in a way. The next day after that text message, I called her. I'm like, I'm trying to get 2 words, through her, and nothing's working, where I ended up just telling her, you know what, we're dead to you. We don't exist anymore. We're dead to you. I'm tired. There, like I said, there's that fallout. There's one fallout right there. I'm sick and tired of it. And I told her. I know that what Ricky said on the podcast last episode also triggered some memories that really pissed me off. And one of them was the fact that I tried to warn her about this individual. about he was dangerous around the kids. And obviously we all heard what happened to Ricky. I think what's kicking me in the ass more is the fact that as an adult, when I had no job and I had nowhere to live and I had no income, well, obviously, you know, even after the fact that this guy tried to molest me, I still ended up working for him. When I heard what happened to Ricky, I did know the kind of person this individual was, and I ignored it for a few bucks, you know, to be able to have a job. And I didn't know, obviously I just recently found out, but I should have caught it, you know, because a couple years back, you know, Ricky and my brother Alex hit me up and I'm like, oh, I'm right here at this address. They showed up and Ricky kind of kept his distance and he looked uncomfortable around this guy and I didn't catch it. You know, I should have caught it. I'm kicking myself in the ass for not being there for him and protecting him when I should have done more. I get it. I get that they hated me. I get that they didn't want me around the house, but I should have done more. I should have gone and visited more often, regardless of them liking me or not. I should have been there. You know, I should have came around more often, regardless of the bullshit. If not to visit my mother, but at least to visit my brothers. And that's where I failed. I messed up. I wasn't there. And again, I'm kicking myself in the ass for that. You know, I go, you know, with the whole thing with my mother also, you know, flashbacks and, you know, what we talked about last episode where, you know, that these nightmares that I would have, having a conversation with my grandmother turned out that they weren't nightmares. They were memories. So, you know, it some of the stuff made sense. It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And some people don't understand that eventually the truth will come out. The truth will come out and they don't get it. And sadly, my mom happens to be one of those individuals that she feels that she's untouchable when it comes to rules and that her truth will never come out. And sadly, it little by little it is. And now that my brothers are seeing her true colors, little by little, they're coming by more often. You know, Ricky's came by multiple times already. I have little, you know, Skippy here staying with me. And my brother Angel came by for the first time. And I don't think she liked that very much. She found out and she didn't like that very much. She told Ricky he had to move out because Ricky was living with her. Ricky is now in the process of packing his belongings and either come live with me or if his buddy comes through. And then Angel came by for the weekend and now he's banned from going to the house. And it's bullshit because at the house, his son lives there. So now my mother and his baby mama are in cahoots and don't let him see his kid, which is bullshit. But hey, we only have one mom, right? We only have one mom. I'm tired of hearing that. You know, it's talking to my sister today and she's like, well, for Christmas I want to come and hang out with you, and you know, our brother Sammy by then will already be buried in Oxnard. So I have only one reason to go to Oxnard, and that is to go visit his grave and to get back, then leave Oxnard as soon as possible. And she doesn't even like to go to Oxnard because of so many bad memories. And I get it. Oxnard, to us, I'm not saying to everybody. No, I'm not offending anybody who lives in Oxnard. I missed it at one point. But to us, Oxnard is very toxic. It's a very toxic environment. And maybe one day that'll change. In the meantime, just looking over into Oxnard from the grade, it's just like just flashbacks and bullshit. And I'm bad memories. Oxnard to us is nothing but bad memories. And I mean, maybe one day we'll get over that, but in the meantime, we haven't. So my sister said, yes, I don't have any intention of going to Oxnard just for that reason, only that reason, and we'll spend Christmas at your house. I'm all right, cool, you know, but sad, you know, I don't want our mother here. I don't want her here. I don't want to see her. And she said, no, don't worry about it. We won't, you know, I'm not going to be the one to invite her over. All right, cool. thank you. And there, like I said, I'm back to the whole back to the whole Ricky thing. I'm just beating myself in the ass for that. I was on TikTok live editing that episode, and I started crying. I started telling people on there that if they have a relationship with their mom, a good relationship with their mom, to fucking kiss them and hug them for us, because we don't know what that's like. We don't know what it's like to have a wonderful relationship with our mother. It's just not. Every day I hear more and more things, and it just pisses me off. And I can't. I have to be strong for my kids. I have to be strong for my wife. I have to be strong for myself. And if eliminating her from my life again needs to happen, it's going to happen. So, again, I'm tired of hearing we only have one mom. Fallout number 2. The mother of my kids. Mother of my kids got upset a few months ago because she wasn't invited to Nicholas's drive-through promotion. No joke, it was a 2-minute thing. She lives in Bakersfield, and that's a 2-hour drive, and we found out last minute. Ever since that's it. Our co-parenting went out the door. I didn't even get to go see my daughter graduate because they gave our tickets, meaning mine and my wife's ticket, to people who they're always talking bad about. So now that we're not in talking terms, they feel that they can, the whole watching what we say in front of the kids about Andy flew out the door. They already started bad mouthing us in front of the kids. And it's bullshit. So, example, Julian made a comment that he is now eating beef. But kids, when they talk, they make everything seem like it's there and then. They don't make it seem like it's past tense, is what I've learned. So, Julian mentioned to his mom that he is eating beef. In reality, we're just test driving it, because he has IBS. So we gave him a little bit of beef here and there to see if it upsets his stomach. So far, it hasn't, but we're not gonna full run it and give him an entire meal of beef. So he mentions to his mom, and she responds with a nasty comment of, "Well, I wish they would have told me that before I went and spent all this money on food, on chicken." Okay, so there I go, having to explain myself to her. I have to explain myself to her and tell her, hey, no, he's not eating full meals of beef. We're testing it to see how his stomach reacts. So, no, he's not having full meals of beef. Another thing that she doesn't understand is that she asks the kids questions that she is not going to like the answer to. And apparently she asked Nicholas if she needed a liver, would Nick give her his liver? And Nick responded, yeah, right, no. So that gave her and her mom the green light to start bad-mouthing us on that kitchen table that they always like to gossip around. I hate that kitchen table. That is their gossip station, and where they're always talking shit about everyone, but to their face. Oh, this is the one time that I kind of like, enough. They were bad mouthing some of the cousins, the ones that live in like Porterville, and they were bad mouthing them. And then during Thanksgiving, "Hi, mija, how are you? It's been so long." That's when I stopped going to those family gatherings, because they're full of shit and they're fucking fake. So I hate that kitchen table. So anyways, Nick was, they were of course blaming us for the reasons that for Nick responding like that, or for Nick being sarcastic. What they failed to remember is that they did that to themselves. The grandmother forgets that during one of the court sessions, the kids were telling the mediator how the grandmother truly was as a person. And the grandmother even got up and left the courtroom because she was disgusted, and obviously the truth hurts, right? The mom, too. All she's ever done is badmouth me in front of the kids, where the kids lost all respect for her. But she has the audacity to blame me for that. Again, fallout number 2. Tired of them. Keeping my distance from her too. Don't have a conversation with her. I just called her last week and told her, hey, do me a favor. You bump into my mother. I don't want her near these kids. Simple as that. Boom. Explained a little bit why. And that's about it. Boom. Done. Fallout number 3 was here at home with a family member. And it was over something so stupid. You know, I understand that this is not my house. I understand that I don't own this house. But I do pay every single bill in this house. We're talking from the trash and water, the rent that it was asked about us to pay. They told us an amount. That's what we've been paying since day one. I didn't have to take over the water bill and the trash bill, but I did. That is a landlord's responsibility. But I decided to do that myself. Whenever I vented to this individual in the past, he would tell me, no, man, you're right. That's messed up. That's not cool. You know, you have rights as a tenant. You have, always like on my side, and recently when it involved him, when it was to him, because again, real quick, this individual has a tendency of bringing his junk here to the garage. It ends up in the garage. There's doors back there. There's a screen door back there. There's stuff that he removed from his house, and instead of junking it, he would go into the owner of the house. Hey, would you like this stuff? And of course, the owner of the house would say, yeah, bring them over to the rental, and they would bring them over here. So I finally put my foot down. And I said, that's not cool. The garage is already cluttered as is, and you're going to bring more stuff over here? My thing was like, why not take it to the dump? Go dump it. So, because it benefits him, all of a sudden, he wasn't on my side. All of a sudden, he threw the landlord or the homeowner card. All of a sudden, it's the homeowner. What happened to in the past, where he even wanted to buy another house to get us out of here, but because it benefits him, it's the homeowner's house. Screw everything that he said in the past, and screw the whole fact that we have rights to as tenants, right? All of a sudden, the homeowner wants it there. All right, cool. Whatever. I told my wife, this is bullshit, and they're just going to bring more and more trash over here. So I'm going to go look into getting a storage, and we're going to take our stuff out of the garage and put it into a storage so that the homeowner and this individual can bring whatever the fuck they want over here. That's fine. They forget that we have an OCD, and when I had to put a tarp to cover the rest of the garage so I don't see that junk. I don't want to see it. It's a clutter. It's a mess. I even shoved a car in the back because it was cluttered in the front. It's junk. It's junk. So they even came to pull that car out and put it back outside where it looks like shit. And then they're using our trash cans that I pay trash for and filling it up with crap that we can probably get dinged for. If you're going to throw shit in the trash, at least shove it where the lid closes. If I'm correct, we're not supposed to be putting drywall in the trash can. We're not supposed to be putting any construction stuff in the trash can. So I'm waiting for that letter in the mail that is going to ding us for that crap that was thrown away. Dude, there's a member in the family that owns a truck. Take the shit to the dump. Take the shit to the dump. Take all this crap to the dump. It's that simple. But I told my wife, fuck it. I am keeping my mouth shut going forward. I won't say squat. But I will be keeping my distance from this individual. because this is how I vent, and it bothers me that I'm hearing from someone else that he went venting to them, but the problem's with me, bro. Like, come talk to me. You damn well, you're bringing your junk over here. You're bringing your trash over here. Then I found out, oh, it's not junk. It belongs to someone else. They let us borrow it. Okay, well then take it to their house. Common courtesy. So if someone let me borrow something, I'm gonna take it back to them. If let's say Chris, my buddy Chris, the Big H, lets me borrow a bike, I don't expect him to drive all the way to La Puente to pick it back up. I borrowed it. It is my responsibility to take it back. So instead of taking it back to the owner, you want to dump it here. All right, cool. Whatever. So like I said, that's fallout number 3. So I told my wife, yeah, we need fucking church. We need to go back to church because I need Jesus. I need Jesus because this is, it's enough. I try to mind my business here at the house, and I don't know, man. I don't know. Other things, like there's a lot of things that bother me, and I'm supposed to be quiet. I'm supposed to say nothing, because if I say something, I come off as an asshole. Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've had a shitty life where I believe I have every right to voice my opinion. I believe I have every right to speak up for myself. And the biggest one that I've always had a problem with is always trying to defend myself. I've always had to defend myself from my mother. If anything ever happened at the house after I left, if CPS went to her house, if the cops went to her house, if the sky turned red for some reason, it was always my fault. I would always get blamed for that. And like you guys heard last week, my brother Ricky said it. We all hated you at one point. She talked so much shit about you. So of course, I was always to blame. So here I am at fucking 39 years old, and still to this day having to prove myself correct or right. Example at work. I was told once, oh, the store owner or the store manager likes you because you don't ask him for anything. And I took that as an insult, because our job is to ask for more business, right? So when I'm building this massive display in that same store that he made the comment, it bothered me. It bothered me because I have to correct him in a way where I'm not being disrespectful, because it's my job. But at the same time, how dare you? How dare you sit there and tell me that he likes me because I don't ask for anything, but yet I'm building this massive display. So I do that at work too. I recently told my new boss, my new supervisor, hey, can you do me a favor and can you go check in on the store? Well, why? I'm not asking you to do my job for me. I'm just asking you to please go in there so you can hear for yourself that I did ask for the business. And he understood where I was coming from. And so I do that at work. I do that with friends. The mother of my kids, back in the days, same thing, same bullshit. Oh, Andy did it, or Andy did this, or Andy did that. Or I got to the point where whenever she would text me something, example, recently, oh yeah, I've been trying to reach out to Andy, but he hasn't responded, so I don't know if I'm gonna see my kids this month. So what did I do? I went through the call history. I went through the text messages. I went through Facebook. I went through every way of her trying to get a hold of me, and screenshot and sent those screenshots out. Not once has she reached out to try to schedule a visit with the kids. Not once. So, that's another thing that I have to do when it comes, like, I don't like to be called a liar. I don't. Simple as that. I don't. There was a misunderstanding the other day with miscommunication, and they're like, oh, it's Andy's fault. Whoa. It is not my fault that I did the right thing and asked the owner of the house for permission to set up something for an event that you're having. You're having the event, not me. So it is not my fault that the communication between you and the homeowner wasn't there. See, I don't like to be accused of something. I did what I felt was the right thing, was to ask the homeowner to build something at the house so that people can have shade. But they come back at, look what you cost. Whoa, 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 whoa. I will defend myself to the fullest. Bullshit. It's not my fault that I have a better relationship with the homeowner of that house than everyone else does. It's not my fault. So I'm like sick of people. I'm sick of people. So, yes, there's that. I don't like to, I feel like all my entire life I've always had to defend myself, protect myself from being accused of stuff that I haven't done. You know, it's annoying. It's annoying that I had to do that from my own mother, the mother of my kids, family, coworkers. It's annoying, but that's the trigger that I have. Like when they say, Andy, you said the sky was red. Bullshit. I'll snap because it's a trigger, you know. But again, I hate it. I hate to be called a liar. Simple as that. You know. Other one that bothers me is, let's go again with the borrowing stuff. Right? Let's say I borrow that same bike from Mr. Big H, from Chris. I'm using you as an example today, Chris. And let's say that, I'm using his bike for a while, and he continues to remind me, let's say that because I'm using that bike, it's benefiting me financially and health-wise, right? Let's say. So if he continues to remind me or remind others how much of a favor he did me, then that's gonna bother me. You know, if Chris didn't mean to let me borrow this bike for free, and he wanted maybe monthly payments, then maybe Chris should say, hey, I need, $500 more a month for you using the bike. That would mean a lot more to me and a better understanding and figure out my finances instead of hearing from other people how much of a favor he's doing me. You get what I'm saying? That's annoying. Why even do me that favor? If I was going to be reminded of that favor, I wouldn't have taken it. I would have said, no, never mind. It's bullshit. Again, Chris, just using it as an example, buddy. You're the one that came to mind. That's why I'm using you as an example, buddy. But it is bullshit. I was like, here, like people that go and record themselves feeding the homeless. Like, why are you guys why do you have to make yourself known that you're doing someone a favor? I've given people money. I've given people food. Not once did I film it or put it on social media. If you're going to do someone a favor, you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart. If you feel that I'm not giving you enough funds to use this bike monthly, then say something. Say something, because it's really annoying to hear from other individuals that you're doing me a favor. So Chris, please stop it, dude. All right? I'll give you your bike back later. Anyways, just kidding. Just using you as an example, buddy. I love you. It's annoying. It's annoying, and all of this has been slapped on my lap just recently. And I'm getting hit from all over the place. I'm getting hit from my mom, the mother of my kids, here at home, family, friends, and it's overwhelming. And I'm tired. And if And it sucks because I can't even talk to these certain individuals, because if I try, I'm going to come off as an asshole. And that's another thing. Okay, that I've made myself look like an asshole. I've done it in front of people where I've snapped, I've yelled, I've raised my voice. But if I've done that, it's because you're not willing to listen, and I'm getting frustrated. And every time I vent to a certain person, I feel bad because I'm putting this individual in the middle of everything. And then she's at the point, and this individual doesn't know, whose side to kind of take. It's like, well, you're right and they're right, but maybe they need to communicate better. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell the story without me actually giving names, because the last time I went on a COVID rant, apparently I was bashing people. So for those of you that listen to my podcast and didn't know, So it's kind of hard because this individual is stuck in the middle of, well, I can't talk to them like that. I'm like, well, if I do, it's going to come off wrong. It's going to come off as an asshole. So I try not, like I said, I'd rather just do it like this, vent on here and let it out, because I'm just, I feel better. Honestly, I feel better. This is actually the second take of this podcast too, because the first one sounded depressed. It sounded like I was about to hang myself. So I had to re-record it. And yeah, because the other one sounded really depressing and I don't like it. This one sounds a little bit more, I mean, again, I'm just getting shit off my chest because I feel that I can't come to these certain individuals and talk to them. I can't. I had to kind of speak up for myself yesterday because of this whole situation with, the owner's house down the street. It's like, man, if you would have communicated, bro, then they would have been aware. But you didn't communicate, and you're trying to do stuff behind their back. And it's not my fault that because I get along with that homeowner, that I was able to, I felt comfortable asking the individual, hey, can I build this tarp thing so that the guests can have shade? So I feel I did the right thing. So yeah, my wife said let it go, but it bothers me because I feel that these people still believe it's my fault. And if they don't call me and say, hey, my bad, yeah, it wasn't your fault, I get you, I understand you got the green light, but someone else changed their mind, you tried, you're not your fault. When that happens, then I won't have to vent about it. But because that hasn't happened, then I'm venting about it, and it just sticks, and I'm holding it in, and then I'll end up exploding on this guy. So I'd rather just vent it out. So that, again, that's been bothering me. The whole, my brother, what happened to my brother's been bothering me. The fact that people are bad-mouthing me in front of the kids again, it's bothering me. And no matter how much food I try to take off this plate, more gets added on. And it's stressful. It's stressful. Sometimes I wish I can just live up on a hill with no one around and just that little house. Kind of like what the guy in Up wanted to do. Just in the middle of nowhere. That would be, well, as long as there's Wi-Fi, because then I can't play with the guys. We won't be able to Call of Duty. But it sucks. And like I said, a lot of this stuff, it's being held it in. I hold it in. And, people just say, oh, just brush it off. You can't. If you were raised the way that I was raised, okay, maybe you can brush it off. But because you weren't, you just can't tell someone to brush it off, because it doesn't work that way. Because these people react different. And I think Officer Ricky said it best. When there's a family gathering, you have 20 adults and 20 different personalities, 20 different mindsets, and you're never all going to agree. And he's right. I think that's the smartest thing Officer Ricky has ever said. Because choosing to be a cop was not a smart call, buddy. Just saying. And just playing. Yeah, he said it best. It's like 20 different personalities, and not everyone's going to agree. And I'd rather not be put in that situation where we all have to be together and decide what we're going to do. And so, again, that's been bothering me. That's just other stuff. But the biggest one, we're gonna go back to it, and the biggest one is my brother Ricky, and I'm kicking myself in the ass for this, because even after the fact that this guy tried to molest me, I was still around him, and I still worked with the guy, and I still did things, to keep his business going. And at one point, I was running one of his businesses, and I should have seen it, and multiple friends, I'm not going to go down the list because I'm going to forget some of you, but multiple friends told me, hey, dude, you can't beat yourself up. There's nothing you could have done. There's nothing you can do now to stop what happened in the past. You can't beat yourself up. And all you can do is be there for your brother, and, just be there for your brother. And if your brother wants to freaking make a phone call, Ian, for sure. Ian said, if your brother wants to make a phone call, I can give him some numbers who he can call and sue this motherfucker. I had another friend that told me, dude, you guys need to do something about it, because you don't know how many more kids this scumbag has touched. And some people see the trauma that we were in, that the trauma that we grew up in is horrible. It's horrible, and some people, like I was told a long time ago, you have to accept certain individuals because that's the way they are, and I'm going to repeat it. Then accept me for who I am, because I shouldn't have to start a podcast. I shouldn't have to tell you stuff on a podcast for you to understand that you need to accept me for who I am as well. If I don't want to be around people, I don't want to be around people. It's nothing something you did. I just have my reasons. Ricky, my brother Ricky, might come live with us because he doesn't trust people. I agree with him for not trusting people, because an individual he trusted molested him. So I am 100% on his side. If he wants to come stay here with us for a little bit, he can come stay here with us for a little bit. He plans on moving to Wisconsin. He said he's a Green Bay Packer fan, so he wants to go live out there. So I told him, actually, it's the wife's idea. If you want to come stay here with us for a little bit until you save enough money, then come stay with us for a little bit. And there's a possibility he might. And yeah, I don't blame him for not trusting people. I just wish that people would take their own advice and accept me for who I am. If I want to keep my distance, then let me keep my distance. If I don't want to respond to an email, to a text message, let me not respond to a text message. If I don't want to, it's like, as long as I'm not hurting myself, my kids, or my wife, or if I'm not asking people for money all the time, I feel that I've earned the right to be left the fuck alone. Again, I'm going to end this podcast pretty soon with the fact that I've stopped going to church, and I feel that ever since I stopped going to church, just fallouts have happened with individuals, with people, and I need to go back to church. So church is not going to change the past, obviously, but it did kind of clear a path, for it was a good run, pretty much. Let's say I didn't have as much problems like I do now. To have a fallout with someone who's like a brother to me for the past few years kind of sucks. Over something so stupid, over trash. Technically, over trash. you know. Sooner or later, I knew that the fallout with sooner or later, I knew I was going to have a fallout with the mother of my kids because she doesn't understand what no means. And I knew I was going to have a fallout with my mother the moment I told Chris, Skippy, to come live with us. So, but yes, I had to redo this podcast episode because the last one sounded depressing. It sounded like I want to hang myself, but it wasn't the case. So if I went in circles, sorry. I was trying to write stuff down earlier to kind of keep it in place, but it didn't happen. I think I kind of mapped it out right. Again, just needed a vent, guys. Ricky wanted me to go on a massive rant. ¿Sabes qué, Officer Ricky? You're not going to get that, bro. He wanted to be here to watch it live. No, bro. You're not going to get a rant. You're going to get vents. And I'm just venting. That's it, bro. If you ever piss me off, then I'm going to go rant on you. You're not going to like it, ese. So, again, the Big H. Sorry, bro. I decided to do this instead of playing Call of Duty. I will make it up to you guys this weekend. Again, a shout out to Mike Wazowski. Obviously, his last name's not Wazowski. That's from Monsters, Inc. Mike was, again, on the movie Lord of Dogtown, starring Heath Ledger and Johnny Knoxville. It's about a movie based on a true story of skateboarding. And he's a skateboarder himself. He's actually a teacher, and he teaches kids how to use skateboards. I've seen his Facebook posts and stuff like that, you know. So I'm waiting for him to come on the podcast because I want to know, again, what it was like to work with Heath Ledger and Johnny Knoxville. Guys, thank you for listening to my podcast. Thank you for letting me vent. And my podcast is not for me to give you guys my drama, or it's real life, and it's annoying at the same time as it's ridiculous, and it might sound stupid to some of you, but it's a reminder that some of you may not have it as bad. If this is the first episode you're listening to, go back and listen. You don't have it that bad. So, thank you guys for listening. And like I end every podcast, thank you for riding with me.
Thank you for listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Indie Podcast. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.